Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my the first Descendant video on this channel. For release right now, unless they make some drastic changes to this game, I probably won't be playing it. Now, I want to tell you that making this video and not playing First Descendant is a huge detriment to my life. I have earned like 10,000 subscribers over the past month and I have earned a hell of a lot of money, which I won't disclose, but you know, it's better than working a job, let's put it that way, drastically better. So, for me to make this video and stop playing First Descendant, there's two things you should know. One, it's a very good reason. And two, that I'm an honest person in just how I think and feel about the world and stuff. And for me, if I am not enjoying a game, there is no point in me playing it just because it makes me money. But we're going to talk about everything that I think is pointless and useless and just an absolutely terrible game that the First Descendant is. And yes, I get it, people are going to be mad at this video, I understand, but if you take some time and listen, and hopefully maybe something that I say sparks something in you, you may not get trapped in this absolutely abysmal, horrible game, or at least the way it is right now. That might change in the future, but this game is basically a lottery from top to bottom, from start to finish. This game is just playing the lottery over and over and over and over. So let's take a look at my ultimate Valby. As a lot of you know, but some of you may not, the progression of your character in this game is tied to these module sockets. You can see that these slots have specific icons on them. Basically, if you have a module which powers up your character in a certain way with the same icon, it usually costs a certain amount, but when you put it on top of a slot with that same icon, it will halve the cost. This means that you can add more modules to your character and get stronger. That is the point of progression in this game. Now, to get a socket put on, you need to have an item called the crystallization catalyst. You can research these, you can get all of those things right there, you can get the blueprint. However, this can take you anywhere from an entire day to 4 or 5 days, depending on your luck of getting those blueprints down at the bottom. So if you do this the natural, legit way to get every single slot with a socket on other than the skill module, this could take you anywhere from, I would say, as a general typical player that isn't buying these slots, off the top of my head, anywhere between 1 week and 1 month. Usually, typically closer to the end of the month. It just really depends on how much you're playing per day and how lucky you are. If you're a casual player and you're playing for 2-3 hours a day, this is going to take you a month. If you're sitting there playing for 15-16 hours a day, it might take you a week of just normal playing. However, the gameplay loop of that is utterly dull and boring, which we'll talk about in a while. So this game, just in general, is just a horrible gameplay loop, which is just detrimental to people's mental health, in my opinion. I just think it's a very dull, pointless game with very few reasons to actually get to endgame, and then endgame itself, not that great. We'll talk about that too. So if you wanted to get ahead, you can actually buy this, and it will cost you somewhere between $5 and $7, roughly about that for the UK as well. But it costs real life money to get one of these. Now, if you wanted to get a slot on every single one, that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 slots, if you was to buy them all like I did for my Thunder Cage, that would be somewhere around $60, right? So you're paying for a full price game, not even a full price game anymore, but roughly a full price game, just to level up one character to their max. But you also need to get back to level 40 between each time you use these. So even if you do want to get ahead, you still have to do the boring, monotonous job of leveling up, which is this game's core gameplay loop, just to get back to the point where you can add another one of these and then restart that whole process again. It's such a horrible, terrible way of doing things. But that's not even the worst part of the game, except for the purchasing stuff. You can also get energy activators to increase your capacity so you can hold more modules. These cost 1,200, so 4 times as much as the crystallization catalyst, just to get 20 extra of your module capacity. So you can imagine that if you were not a patient person and you didn't want to play the boring gameplay loop, you'd be spending quite a lot of money on these characters. And I know for a fact a lot of people have spent a lot of money, including myself, just because I wanted to get ahead because I made videos which earned me money back. I have earned way more money than I have spent on it. So for me, it's understandable that I've spent that money. However, a lot of people are going to get trapped into this little progression, microtransaction hell just to try and, you know, enjoy this game, when realistically the game is boring and crap. Before we get into the gameplay loop, let's look at my inventory here. So, modules first and foremost. A lot of these modules you'll see repeated in most builds, because a lot of these are the only modules worth having. I have leveled up a whole bunch of different ones for different Descendants, obviously, so like Fire Specialist I did for Blair, but a lot of these you don't need whatsoever. Nobody uses these because they are not good at all. They are not worth putting on. Focus on Fire. Why? You get less skill power and more skill cooldown. Doesn't change anything. I'd rather just have more skill power. So if they, moving forward, they really need to make these ultimate modules feel like ultimate modules. Have the purple ones be way better than the blue ones. It just, for me, most of the stuff in this game is completely pointless and not needed whatsoever. People don't use half of these modules. I haven't even gone and chased other modules because I know they're going to be useless. So I don't even play the missions to try and get these modules, which drop at a very small drop rate, because I know that even if I get them, I'm never going to use them, because the game is just poorly built mechanics wise, especially for the modules. There is no diversity in builds other than having a different Descendant. Every single one typically uses skill extension, skill expansion, something to improve your crit hit rate and crit hit damage, whatever their moves are. So obviously Ultimate Valby is like, you know, non-attribute dimension, non-attribute fusion. You know, you're going to have things on here that boost that up, and then you might have some more extra things for crit hit rate, crit hit damage. This is a typical build for most characters. Yes, you can switch things in and out for very specific builds of very specific Descendants, but for the most part, these are the only modules that you need to invest time into, which means that everything else is completely pointless. Same with weapons. I only have ever used my Thunder Cage. It is the thing that I have put most time into. I've spent money on it, obviously, but all of these things work to give me a Thunder Cage which does more damage than pretty much anything in this game outside of broken builds like Ultimate Lepic, etc, etc. This is all I need to play the game. You can see that for my general rounds modules, most of them I haven't even bothered investing into in terms of, you know, increasing their pips to make them stronger. And then when you go and look at the special weapons, same thing. I have never used a special weapon with any kind of build outside of using rifling reinforcement, which I just used for this hand cannon to see the difference in damage that it does with just that mod. But everything else here I don't need to invest time into because I have a Thunder Cage. Don't even get me started on the heavy weapons. I have never touched any heavy weapon other than one rifling reinforcement, and halfway through I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I never use these weapons. Now yes, again, you can take a sniper or whatever and make it into a really big powerful build with a specific character, but for the most part, most of these characters' Descendants modules just don't matter. Reactors are fine. I think that system's pretty good. However, I feel like you should be able to increase beyond the 2 pips to get this more powerful. Components, honestly, you know, you've got gear sets and stuff which you get from the harder Void Intercept bosses. In my opinion, completely pointless. It's just for min-maxing. I have done everything in this game up to Molten Fortress without ever taking off these 4, which is module drop rate, Kuiper Shard drop rate, consumable drop rate, shield recovery out of combat, defense gold rate increase, and item acquisition. This is my farming build basically, and I have never ever taken these 4 components off. Everything I get in this game is instantly dismantled, whether it be weapons, reactors, or components, instantly gone. So any rewards that you are going and getting and all these nice pretty things are dropping on the floor are instantly being deleted because they're useless, they're pointless. Very quickly as well, the UI, in my opinion, is horrible. Trying to find things in this game, in your menus and stuff, just utterly just terrible UI. That's just a little mini thing that I don't like. Terrible UI. So what is the core or supposedly core gameplay loop for this game? It's to do quests, it's to do void fragment missions, it's to do Vulgus strategic outposts to get things that improve your chances of opening material patterns at a higher drop rate, and modules, and also the amorphous material patterns, as you can see right here, right in front of you. However, the golden XP rewards are dramatically lower because they don't want you to progress too far, and we'll talk about what's annoying and boring and terrible about that in just a second. But the core gameplay loop is to go and get these things and use them. Like I said, the modules, not worth it for the most part. The material patterns say acquisition chance 25%. Now, if you don't know Nexon, they have been literally sued and fined for showing drop rates that aren't true. So 25%, as we all know, isn't actually 25%. You also get an extra chance of getting a material pattern after successful infiltration. However, different patterns drop different things. So, you know, you're going to run these, you're going to have a fairly okay, decent chance of getting a material. However, you could run this for 2 hours and get 2 material patterns. And the problem with that is those material patterns, when you open them, have a very small % chance of getting the things that you want. So you are running the same missions over and over again to try and get a couple of the same drops of the material pattern that you want, which is a lottery in itself, to then use those to potentially not get the thing that you want. So theoretically, you could go 10 hours in this game and get one thing that you want. Most people aren't that unlucky, but it can definitely happen. And that to me is a horrible gameplay system. Mechanics, everything, drop rate, just terrible, awful. Absolutely abysmal, and they should definitely be ashamed of themselves for the systems that they've put in. So what I did is I went and collected 100 of this amorphous material pattern 016. I was going to make this into a video, but I can't be bothered anymore. So to open these, I would need to go and kill the executioner uncommon. That's a couple of seconds, you know, kill him, but then you got to reload and come back in. So it's probably like a minute per kill. So I'd have to spend 100+ minutes to open all of these to potentially get all these items that are available in the game. Now, you want that energy activator blueprint. I could open all 100 of these, spend, like, I don't know, say 2 hours for argument's sake, never get a single energy activator blueprint, even though it says 3%. That's not true. Don't listen to it. It's bullshit. You could potentially get more than 3% if you're lucky. But again, it's playing the lottery. You have to go and farm and play the lottery to get one of these to drop, unless you do the 100% chance drop missions to get another percentage chance of getting the thing that you want. For me to get these 100 patterns, I went and did a mission over and over and over again. It took me 3 minutes 30 seconds, there or thereabouts. So I spent 6 to 7 hours farming these 100 materials. I could open every single one of these, which would take me another couple of hours, never get a thing that I want or need. That is abysmal. Same with these ones. These are rarer to get, harder to get, and the things that you want, even though there's more things in there that can drop, if you want that ultimate bunny code, you might not ever get it. You could get 100 of these and might not ever get it. Utterly awful way to play, like, to have a game system. It's a lottery on top of a lottery. It is disgusting. Right, now let's talk about the core gameplay loop, because no one's doing quests and missions, because like I said and pointed out, those XP rewards are so abysmally low. There is no point, because the modules are worth farming these missions for. As you can see, if I go over to this mission, we get 2,000 XP and 12,000 gold for a estimated playtime of 10 minutes or less. Now, typically that's probably about 3 minutes when you're at the levels that we're at, but 2,000 XP, 12,000 gold for a 3-minute thing, and not even 100% chance drop rate of the modules. The core gameplay loop, because you want to keep leveling up to level 40 to use those catalysts to get back onto getting more modules to make your character more powerful so that you can fight the Void Intercept bosses. This is the gameplay loop. Standing in a cave, doing nothing for anywhere close to 30 minutes to 50 minutes every single time you level up to level 40. That is the game. Really truly think about, when you've been playing this game, how much time do you think you have spent in a cave or in some kind of mission just farming XP over and over and over again? It is utterly just awful systems. Now, talking about those XP and gold rewards from the quest missions, why would anyone choose to do them when they can just stand in this cave? Now, this is a very slow version of it. If I go into this now, you can see that in 18 seconds I got 12,000 gold and a hell of a lot more XP, even just in my bonus XP. I didn't see what it had because it pops away too quick, But you can see there is no point in me playing a mission for 3.5 minutes or whatever to get the same amount of XP and gold, well, not even the same amount of XP, to get way less XP, when I can just stand in a cave and do it in 18 seconds. Like, really truly think about what that is. There is no content in this game at all, because your whole system and game is just standing here shooting at enemies that spawns. And yeah, it was great at first because you were getting more and more powerful and stuff, but typically it just wasn't, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. 16,000 XP. The mission outside was 2,000 XP. So what's the point in doing anything in this game other than standing in a cave? Really? Like, come on. Now let's talk about these void intercept battles. Pretty cool mechanic in the game, but this should not be the end game of this game. A lot of these higher up enemies are just bullshit mechanics. They're not even difficult. It's just that you have to get lucky with having a good team or a broken ultimate Lepic team to be able to beat them. But for the most part, general play, absolutely incredibly frustrating, boring, and pointless bosses, because they don't really give you anything. They give you the sets of gear that you can get from the components, which you don't even need. They buff your character up, yeah, but for what? To fight the next boss that gives you nothing or something for a character you don't have. Like, all this game is about is lottery and min-maxing, and when you min-max, there's just no point in doing anything in the game. You see what I mean? Like, I could get this and get skill duration of 5.7%. I've already got a high skill duration on Val B anyway, so I don't need it. Now, firearm attack would be great for me, but it increases proportionally to the ratio of max HP to HP lost. That's so specific that it just doesn't feel like it's worth even grinding out to get. Yeah, it will help me power up a little bit, but like I've already said, with my Thunder Cage, I have got to Molten Fortress without ever needing any of that stuff. So the fact that you don't need any of the stuff that they drop to progress through the void intercept battles tells me that there is no point in doing these bosses. Yeah, they're fun interactions and stuff, you know, especially Molten Fortress. I love those mechanics, and I've heard that Gluttony has good mechanics too. But once you beat them, what are you going to do then? Just get some amorphous materials to unlock another character that you're going to have to spend another 50 hours leveling up, when you already have a character that can do the stuff that is here anyway. It just seems so trivial and pointless in my opinion. But let's go open a couple of those 100 materials. So this is the other half of it, the material pattern farming, because if you want those blueprints for the energy activators, you have to do the most boring grinds ever. You have to first get the material patterns, which, like I said, took me 6 to 8 hours. I think I said, I can't even remember. It was definitely around about 6 hours. And then I have to go and fight a boss, kill him, open it and hope to get it. But the boss is just crap, because it's just like 1 shot kill, 2 shots kill. So I have to go through this process of loading him, running up to the boss, letting the boss spawn, just to insta kill him and open it to be something that isn't what I want. That's not fun. It's not healthy for the game. It's not healthy for people playing the game. It's just a very, very awful gameplay loop. It's just, I just don't understand. Like, I just don't get it. Like, the game was great on release because you were leveling up, because you were getting to endgame, but then it just gets tiresome. So I can use my shape stabilizer and get a 6% chance of getting that, but no, me, I probably won't get it. Yep, I got a Valby enhanced blueprint, so let's do another one of them and see if we get lucky. We just have to wait here, you know, 4 or 5 times longer than the actual boss fight takes to even... Man, I sound like I'm butthurt and salty and stuff, but I just really want this game to be worth playing. But in my opinion, there are no redeeming factors. There is nothing in this game that is worth doing or playing at all, outside of being a content creator, or maybe if you're someone who just likes to collect a lot of things. I could see you get a lot out of this game because you can collect every weapon, you can collect every Descendant. Like, that makes sense to me. But for the most part, there's just nothing in this game worth playing or worth investing in at all. But let's try and get another blueprint thing. And there's one more thing I want to talk about after this. That is Bunny. Come on, buddy. Come on. You can die now. Oh. There we go. Let's see what we get. Might as well use my... I think I've still got another shape stabilizer. No, I don't. Okay, let's just open this. Boom. What do we get? Another Valby Enhanced Cells blueprint. Yay! I just got that. Yay! Jesus Christ. What up? It's easy now. Post edit. I made a whole rant about Bunny and talking about Bunny, but then I just thought to myself, it's not worth it. There are so many other things in this game that are worse than Bunny, but I will say that I think Bunny in general is a detriment to the game. Being 90% better than every other Descendant at everything in the game just makes the whole ecosystem and health of the game really, really bad. That's all I'll say on Bunny. So where does that leave my channel? Well, here's the thing. When I left YouTube a few years ago and I came back recently, I wanted to do this to have a happy, healthy hobby, let's say. I never intended to make loads of money from it or get loads of subs. It was just something I wanted to do to be creative and enjoy my life and do fun things. This game was fun when it first came out. It's now starting to become more of a pain in the arse and a drag to actually play. So for me, it's a very easy stepping off point. But I cannot go back to Destiny. Or at least I don't think I can anyway, because there's not much content there. The whole game and community is dying. Bungie is dying. So that's probably a game that I shouldn't invest my time into. For right now, I don't see any games on the horizon that really will make good content. Star Wars Outlaws is coming out. You might see me post a couple of videos about that because I am actually excited to play it regardless of what people think of it. But for right now, I think I'm just chilling. Not worrying too much about having to do videos, because when I came back to YouTube, for me, it was like, I want to do this for fun. I want to be happy. I want to be healthy. And if I'm not enjoying something, regardless of the amount of money I'm making or subs or growth, it's not worth me stressing out and being anxious about and forcing myself to play something I don't want to play just for those things, those monetary rewards. For those who feel like they need to unsubscribe now, I totally get it. You subscribed for First Descendant content. If I'm not making it anymore and you need to leave, I totally get it. Anyone who decides to stick around, you know, in the future, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, I start uploading more videos for different games and stuff. If that helps you and you want to stick around, I appreciate you. For those who have been around on my channel for many years, who have followed me through to the First Descendant as well, much like you followed me through to Destiny, even Outriders, you know, you've been through all these different games. I appreciate you. I love you. You mean more to me than you could possibly understand. And hopefully in the future, when I'm back on, I'll see you again. But for right now, I'm out. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I've been easynow. You guys have been awesome.